Where have you snuck off to this time, Kara? I go around the corner for just a few minutes, and when I come back, you vanish into thin air. Explain yourself. I swear I can't let you out of my sight for a single second.
Explain myself? What are you talking about, Joyce? You told me you wanted me to do some quick shopping for you, so I'm doing just that. You know, like you asked me to?
Emphasis on the word quick. You've been at the store for ages at this point. It would have been faster if I'd gone myself. Oh, you're just as unreliable as ever. I don't know why I even bother with you. Will you just hurry home already so you can stop slowing me down? The world does not stop and start at your convenience if you haven't realized.
Sorry, I just wanted to help in any way I can. And I swear to you up and down I'm doing my best. It's just a bit busy today, so getting around the store isn't exactly easy.
Hush now. I don't want any excuses that all boil down to your best not being good enough. We got more important matters than your blunders to discuss. Like the wedding. Cecilia finally decided on a day for the reception. Isn't it wonderful?
Really? Oh, that is wonderful news. You're right. I'm really happy for her. Did they decide on a venue too?
She chose the Golden Hotel, if you can believe it. It's a super fancy place that's supposed to be impossible to book, but Cecilia ended up knowing someone who works under the concierge. How amazing is that?
Oh, wow. Talk about lucky indeed. I'm so excited to see it for myself.
My, I can just feel my heart fluttering. That girl is the spitting image of how I looked when I was her age, you know. Consider yourself fortunate that you're not burdened with being the kind of bombshell of a goddess that she is, and that I have plenty of experience being.
Right. Lucky me.
I mean, it's certainly not easy being a pretty young thing, unable to walk down the street without captivating the hearts and minds of all. Not to mention you have to endure an onslaught of countless endowed suitors willing to give you a girl's best friend. Which is diamonds, by the way. I'm sure that answer escaped you, too.
That's a really famous song from a really famous movie, but okay. At any rate, I understand that I can't compare to Cecilia. I promise you don't need to hammer that point anymore. On the other hand, I am married to your son, so putting me down as someone who can't find a good suitor is a little, degrading to him too? Doesn't it seem a little backwards and self-loathing to be so scornful?
Scornful? Girl, if you didn't intend to be judged the same way I judge my own flesh and blood, you shouldn't have dared to marry into my family. Besides, you're acting as if my intention was for my son to marry a common woman like yourself. I was left speechless when Marcus brought you to my house and told me you were engaged. I'll have you know. The feeling was nothing short of being positively mortified, but I've since sucked it up and accepted this grim fact, for which I say you're welcome.
Gee, thank you so much.
You and Cecilia as equal women? Well, whiplash is a dangerous thing. Much better to just establish a hierarchy the way all societies do, even beasts.
I see. Well, I'm more interested in what Marcus has to say about me than your system, and he thinks I'm rather cute.
Cute? Don't kid yourself. When my son calls you cute, he means it in the way us humans get enamored with some rare exotic creature. Though even that turn of phrase might be a little generous for you. Believe me, when I first met Marcus and Cecilia's father, my first husband, I was absolutely head over in heels for him, and he was the same for me. But things, of course, soured, and by the end, we despised each other. I'm glad he had the good graces to die before he ever laid eyes on you. Otherwise, you might have made him drop dead before all the heart issues did.
That sounds to me like you were just in an unhappy marriage, and now you're taking it out on me, doesn't it?
Believe me, Kara, when you get to my age and you've seen what I've seen, you'll be hard-pressed to find a marriage that isn't unhappy. If you're lucky, Marcus will go blind in his old age and won't be able to see how hideous you'll become.
I mean, I'd rather he see me for what I am than have him be unable to read the paper or drive around freely.
Well, we'll just see how intent you are on aging gracefully. when your body does what a woman's body always does and starts to betray her. Believe me, it's all fun and games until someone starts saying things about how you don't look as young as you used to. That's when you'll start to feel the real rage.
Okay, I guess. I'll keep that in mind. Although I don't think all that spite is the anti-aging solution you're looking for.
Oh, well, anyways, enough of this vexation. We've got more important matters to discuss. As my sweet Cecilia is to be married soon, I need you to understand that I have my plate rather full with making sure this wedding is absolutely perfect. Perfection takes effort and time, so although it pains me to admit, the burden of upholding the house until this is done is going to fall squarely on your shoulders.
All right, I suppose that makes sense, and I'd like to help in any way I can. Would you mind explaining to me what you actually, want me to do?
My God, it's like you were born yesterday. Let me spell it out for you. You're going to do all the cooking and cleaning and laundry and all that nonsense. Anything that needs to be done, you're doing it. Got it?
All right. That sounds pretty similar to what I've been doing this whole time, so sure. It's not like I get any help from you or anyone else besides Marcus anyways. Is that all?
You're impetuous as ever, I see. The way I see it, you should be able to take care of the housework like this with ease, as housewives are meant to do. Do you think I'll let you marry my son for your looks or your smarts? Certainly not. You're here to do my bidding, and unless you want to be on the street, you'll stay that way.
That's low even for you. I know you're pretty, traditional. I just figured that wives being indentured servants was at least a little bit below your standards.
Oh, boo-hoo, dry your tears on the pages of that thesaurus you must have in your other hand. I'm the one who should be sobbing here, having to call a pathetic thing like you my daughter-in-law. It's absolutely humiliating. I wouldn't mind your insolence if only you were even just the tiniest smidge more adorable. But you know what they say about polishing? Well, you know.
You do realize how awful it feels to be called the things you call me, right? Do you care even the slightest how hurtful you're being by comparing me to some stain on your family?
I hadn't used that one yet, but honestly, that's quite fitting, thank you. I'll just have to add it to my Rolodex of appropriate degradation for you, and I'm sorry. Do you honestly think I care even the slightest about your feelings? Cara, I really couldn't be bothered to care about you in the slightest, and I guarantee that if you were in my position, you would feel the exact same way.
Maybe. Or maybe if I was you, I would be able to see how hard my daughter-in-law was working to make me happy.
I'm sorry. Am I reading this right? This is what it looks like for you to work hard to please me? Oh, that has to take the cake. I've never heard something so self-congratulatory in my entire life.
Whether or not you want to accept it, I have been trying my damnedest to make this work. If not for you, then for Marcus. It's becoming clear to me, however, that no matter how much effort I put in, you're never going to see it as mattering.
All right, then, enlighten me. What exactly is the output of all this effort and hard work you suppose yourself to be doing? What am I supposed to be seeing here?
Boy, where do I even begin? I wake up at the crack of dawn, or earlier, because of you rummaging through the house at night to make sure the house is just as spotless as you desire every day. Oh yeah, and I constantly change plans or what I'm cooking because I need to fit your exact specifications or you'll throw a fit.
Anything that can't fit my model of excellence deserves to have a fit thrown at it, darling. So I'm supposed to be touched by the sight of a frumpy mooch of a woman living in my house, flailing about and trying to make herself useful. I'm impressed that you consider this to be hard work, when I've seen it as the cheapest kind of entertainment. You know, like one of those videos of a cat or an otter or hedgehog or something on the internet, just far less cute.
You're horrible.
Now, roll that tongue back into your mouth where it belongs. Anyhow, if you really want to show me some hard work and dedication, I'm upping the ante. From here on out, you'll be upholding our house, as well as Cecilia's house from now until the wedding.
What?
You heard me. That girl is going to be far too busy for that kind of low-class work, and you seem to have an excess of energy and a penchant for lollygagging, so hop to it.
I mean, if she's as amazing as you say she is, and speaking as someone who's quite fond of her myself, can't she handle her own affairs?
Is that in any way to treat your family? I think not. Do you honestly think between the wedding and her job she'll have any time at all to take care of her place? Be realistic.
I am being perfectly realistic, trust me. Do you honestly think with me doing all the chores and everything at our house, I'll have any time to take care of her place too? That sounds pretty unreasonable to me, don't you think?
I don't care what it takes. You're going to get it done, and you're going to get it done properly. Even if that means you have to weasel your way into her apartment every night and make sure her place is spotless. If I tell you to do it, you simply must. Don't even think for a second that this gives you the go-ahead to do anything that would disturb Cecilia from her beauty sleep. You will be as silent as a dormouse, the only way you ought to be all the time.
That's not just unreasonable, that's impossible. I have no idea how you expect me to get even a fraction of that amount of work done unless I was sleeping during the day. Is that what you want me to do?
Now, that has to be the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard you suggest thus far. In what world would I want my lazy, good-for-nothing daughter-in-law to be sleeping when she could be working? When you drag yourself home from cleaning Cecilia's place, you can expect me to be waiting for you to make us breakfast, then get back to cleaning this house.
But that means I would be working all day and I wouldn't be able to sleep at all. That's too ridiculous. Even for you.
And rest is a privilege, not a right, and you have not nearly earned it, girl.
But I'm already running on fumes. If you continue to push me beyond what I can't handle, if I don't sleep, I'll probably just drop dead. You're nothing short of a murderer.
Oh, wonderful. More incessant whining from the useless woman I can't even trust with the most basic of tasks. I did 3 times the amount of work I'm counting on you for when I was your age, and I never gave a single person lip about it. Certainly not my mother-in-law, whose words might as well have been etched into stone tablets as commandments for all I cared. Now, quit messing around and get to work. Kara, you sneaky, slippery, surreptitious little woman, you've really done it now.
What exactly is it that I've done?
You've been shirking your work, you little toad. Cecilia, the pure-hearted woman she is, told you not to worry about cleaning her apartment, didn't she? And you took that to mean you could sleep, didn't you?
Yeah, I sleep. I sort of need to function, you know, the way all humans do. You're the one who told me I couldn't sleep during the day, so I really don't know what I'm supposed to do about that. If your solution is to tell me not to sleep, then again, that's just not really feasible.
Not feasible? Where do you get off with this silver tongue of yours? If I tell you to do something for my daughter, you do it, regardless of what she thinks. Mother knows best, but you two should at least know better. We've got another matter to discuss, however, and I'm hoping this time you'll listen closely and do as you're told. It's about Cecilia's wedding. You see, I was just meeting with her to discuss the reception, and I've come to a decision.
A decision?
You'll be staying at home on the day of the wedding, taking care of everything and keeping it in order for when we return. Got it?
What? Why wouldn't you want me at the wedding?
No matter how docile you might be, and even that is up in the air, I simply can't have a lesser woman like yourself spoiling the atmosphere at my daughter's wedding. For goodness sake, Kara, think of the photos. These are going to be looked at for generations, and I need to put the family's future first.
But Cecilia told me herself she wanted us to be seen together as sisters. Isn't what she wants important?
Of course it's not. She's young, flighty, she'll say any whim or fancy that comes to her. My word is law, unwavering, unsaddled by the ridiculous, reckless abandon that youth brings.
I mean, you say that, and yet Edmund also said he wanted me to be there, so can't you at least listen to a democratic vote? Marcus wants me to come too, of course.
Marcus is a fool, and Edmund, good husband as he may be, is not their true biological father. He can't possibly be able to comprehend the magnitude of importance that comes with protecting their family's image.
But they're on better terms with him than they ever were with their so-called true father. Isn't family about loving each other, not blood? Besides, Edmund goes out of his way to be kind and gentle to you, to do exactly what you say, just like me, and just like Marcus, and just like Cecilia. Isn't it time at least one of us had a say in matters? Isn't it time you were gentle or kind to at least one of us? Him, at the very least?
What makes you believe you can walk into my house and tell me how to treat my family, In what world do you have any right to act like you know better than this house's one true matriarch?
I understand you're upset, but...
But nothing. Silence, you little slime. I don't want to hear a single thing out of your mouth about the way this family should be ever again. You unruly, disrespectful, hideous interloper.
Interloper? I am part of this family, whether you want to admit it or not.
Whatever my son, daughter, or husband think of you, you will always just be a servant to me. And a servant should dutifully uphold the house while the family is away taking care of family matters. If you can't understand that, you have no place here. Why, oh why aren't you doing the one thing I told you to do, Kara? I asked you to stay in the house on the wedding day, and yet I can't seem to find you here. If I find out that you're trying to sabotage the wedding, there will be hell to pay. Mark my words.
Apologies for the scare. Something came up that made me have to leave the house for a bit, that's all?
That's all, What's this something that came up? What could be so important for you to willfully ignore my precise, perfect instructions?
Before that, how did you even know I was out? You left earlier than I did. Did you come back from wherever you went already?
I went to the salon to get my nails and hair done, for your information. The mother of the bride has to be stunning, and I'm willing to rouse myself at even the earliest hours to make that happen.
I see.
But enough of that. I can see you trying to butter me up, and it won't work. Edmund and Marcus won't respond to my messages, and when I called the house phone, I didn't even get an answer from your shrill, wretched voice. That means I know something is afoot.
Something's afoot? Well, if you want me to relay a message to them when I get back, I certainly can.
I'm afraid this is a matter of utmost importance, and one that needs to be kept strictly confidential. You know, a matter between family. Most likely, the boys must have gone on ahead to the hotel. Better they're early, otherwise those buffoons would be most certainly late. I was hoping I could count on you to be there, the one thing I ask of you, and yet you fail me again.
I'm sorry to disappoint.
Trust me, the time for you to have said that has long since passed. If you really meant it, you would have apologized to me the moment you stepped into my life. Then you would have seen yourself out and opened the door for a better bride for Marcus. Now, let me make this perfectly clear to cast aside any inane thoughts you might have about further disobeying me. If I even catch a hint, a whiff, a glimpse of you appearing at this wedding, I will call the hotel staff and tell them this wedding is off.
Off? You tank what's going to be the happiest moment of your daughter's life, who you claim to obsess over, just to stop me from being with my family? That's monstrous.
Monstrous? I find that very insulting. What I'm doing is heroic and protective. I'll do anything to make sure you don't ruin Cecilia's wedding.
Even if that means you're the one ruining it in the end? That's hypocrisy if I've ever heard of it.
How so? I'm being perfectly truthful. As in, the truth is, you're not part of this family, and I don't want anyone, especially you or my daughter, getting any other idea in their head.
You keep saying things like that as if everyone in this family doesn't already treat me with equal respect.
Do you honestly think I care about the respect you'd be getting from my son? If he's dumb enough to marry you, he's barely worth the time of the day. And Edmund? Pfft, he's cute, but that's all he is to me. A cute guy with money who keeps me content. He's got no stake in this at all. They're small fries. Men are all fools, and swaying them to your side is practically second nature, even to a woman with your dearth of charms. It's my dear Cecilia who I can't let fall into your clutches and trick into thinking an ugly thing like you deserves to be anywhere near her.
So that's why you're willing to make this whole thing go up in smoke.
If you're as concerned with her happiness as you claim to be, you won't even think about showing up.
Fine, I understand. You'll have it your way. I won't be seen anywhere near their hotel, and if anyone asks, I didn't want to come anyway. I'll do exactly what you say. No issues or complaints. Is that what you'd like to hear from me, Joyce? My complete submission to you?
Music to my ears. If only you'd been so complacent earlier, we could have avoided this whole train wreck. Do me a favor and get back to the house so we can have food ready to eat tonight when this is all done. Now, I'll be able to enjoy the wedding free of obstacles.
I certainly pray it stays that way.
As if I have any need for your silly little prayers, woman. Your faith means nothing to me, just as you mean nothing to this family. You've disrespected me quite thoroughly, but I'm going to be a gracious, kind mother to you now. I've toyed with the idea of throwing you out on the street, but you'll always have a place in the house as my servant. You can kiss my hand when I get back and tell me how grateful you are, don't worry.
Why, pray tell, should I be grateful for the horrid whims of a deceptive crone like you?
Why, you little... I ought to wash your mouth out with soap, you know that? I'm giving you a roof over your head and a life where you never have to pay rent or bills. But your greedy little hands are always reaching for more. If you had any wits, you would be singing my praises night and day as long as you lived.
Is that really the way the world works in your mind? Sometimes I can't tell if you're joking or not.
In my mind, it's the way the world works, period. You want to hear a joke? You, just a few minutes ago, saying you were going to be free of complaints when it came to me.
Yeah, well, you really test me.
Ha! You wouldn't have to be tested if you merely succeeded. It's not my fault you fail at every chance you get.
I know. When I was preparing to get married to Marcus, I told myself a day would come where you and I could be friends. A day where you and I could see each other truly as mother and daughter. Where you could see how happy Marcus makes me and how I try to do the same for him. A day where you wouldn't have to put your own daughter on a pedestal so high up and makes her want to jump. Clearly, I was mistaken.
You're right. You were mistaken. You were mistaken for thinking that a mutated woman like yourself would ever be seen as anything more than that by a true goddess of beauty like me. In fact, I'd rather die than see you as my daughter, and you can quote me on that.
I hope I do get to quote you, honestly.
Now, I'm running out of time to put you in your place, so I need you to play nice while I'm on my way to the wedding. You'd better make sure not a single dish or fork is out of place in our house when I come home tonight. Toodles! What the devil is going on here? You haven't heard anything from them, have you?
Them? Who are we talking about here? Is something wrong, Joyce?
Don't you Joyce me. Something is definitely, positively, most certainly wrong right now. I'm at the hotel, in the hall where we're supposed to be having the wedding, and there's not a single solitary soul here.
No one? Not even Edmund or Marcus? I thought they left early to go to the hotel together, didn't they?
Not even those boneheads, and certainly not my lovely Cecilia. I'm alone. It's a mess of travesty.
That's odd. I wonder where everyone went off to. Did you already ask the staff or the concierge or someone like that?
Of course I did. They're giving me the cold shoulder, though. And they apparently don't even have a reception booked for today under our family's name.
Well, that's not good.
Not good? Talk about an understatement. This is downright chaotic. Surely you've heard from the boys or Cecilia, so spit it out. What do you know that I don't, Cara?
Well, this is just something I heard casually, but a little bird told me that Cecilia and her husband decided to change the location for the wedding at the last second. I think I might have even heard something about an overseas wedding and flying out all the family for a lovely getaway.
An overseas what? This is the first I'm hearing about any of this. If you really heard about this and you're not making it up, why in the world didn't you tell me sooner?
Well, I hate to admit it, but that's kind of on you.
What are you talking about?
I was fully intending to tell you what I'd heard, but you, as usual, didn't want to hear me out at all. Whenever I tried to engage with you over text or on the phone or in person, you did what you always do and shut me out, put me down, made fun of me. It's not like the rest of us didn't already know about it either. You're the one who pretty much chose to be out of the loop.
Us? Who is this us you're prattling on about?
Marcus, Edmund, and Cecilia. Who else? This is about the wedding, which makes it a family matter, after all. I thought you, of all people, would be able to put that together, Miss Family Comes First.
What? The whole family is conspiring against me?
That's not really how I'd put it. Besides, I didn't know myself until just this morning because of how quickly Cecilia decided to change the plan. That's the real reason I had to leave the house early in the morning, if you were still wondering about that.
There's no way that could be true. How could they turn their backs on me like that?
Well, I think if you try to imagine it from their perspective, it makes it a lot easier. All of us, in our own way, are tired of living under the thumb of the high and mighty mother of this family. This wedding is about Cecilia, not you. Not the family legacy or the future or something. It's about her love and her happiness. Is it really that odd to think she'd choose to find something with a little less oversight and oppression?
You're just speaking complete nonsense now. I am her mother. There is no way she could ever approach being happy having a wedding where I wasn't there to walk her down the aisle. Where is she? I want to speak to her post haste. Someone needs to put some sense into her, and be quick about it, will you?
I'm not following orders from the likes of you any longer, but let me try to explain it to you, since you clearly missed what I said earlier. Cecilia and her husband decided to get married overseas, which means we're, not in the country as we speak. The reason they felt the need to go abroad is so they could be happy without you getting in the way. If anyone needs some sense to be talked into them, at this point, it's clearly you. It's only because you were insistent on pushing everyone down that the original wedding plan fell apart. When Cecilia found out what you told me, she quickly lost a lot of goodwill she'd been holding on to for you. You might not be Ozymandias, but if I was you, I would still look upon your work in despair.
You mean I lost out on my chance to see my daughter be wed because of a stupid, smart-mouthed servant like you?
The fact that you're still trying to pin this on me shows me you're truly a monster. Speaking of which, you're the one who dumped a list of things you wanted Cecilia's husband to buy for the family, aren't you?
So? What's so odd about that? The guy's loaded.
What's odd is the fact that you think it's normal to try shake down your son-in-law when they're not even married yet. And talk about a double standard, right? I'm human trash, apparently, but he's a cash cow, right? I guess either way you slice it, we're just objects to you, so maybe it's not so different after all.
Oh, shut up! This has nothing to do with you. Didn't I tell you to stay far, far away from the wedding, lest it succumb to your infectious idiocy? Please, at the very least, tell me you're scramming from the house once and for all, lest you really wish to evoke my deepest, truest wrath.
Oh, I'm way ahead of you. I've already packed my bags. In fact, I can't stand to be under your gaze any longer.
Oh, thank the heavens. I'll never have to see your face again.
I wouldn't laugh too hard. I mean, my face isn't the only one you won't be seeing anymore.
What's that supposed to mean?
Marcus and Edmund are coming with me.
They're doing what?
That's what they were really up to today, and why they haven't responded to your texts or calls. The three of us have been planning our escape for quite some time now, and now it's all in motion. We all pitched in to get a new place to live, and we're just about ready to depart. Of course, you're welcome to stay at the old house. We don't mind. It is your household, after all.
Wait a second. Where are you all off to? You can't leave me here.
I literally just told you, but we've got a new house. We've been busy packing things up for a while now. I would say I'm surprised you didn't notice, but given how little attention you pay to us, I'll save my breath. Don't worry, we didn't take the fridge or the washer or anything like that, so you should be okay.
Be okay? I'm supposed to do everything myself now? That's what I have you for. And what about money? Aunt Edmund and Marcus going to support me?
I highly doubt it.
But Edmund is my husband. It's his duty to protect me and love me and care for me in sickness and in health till death do us part.
Speaking of parting, I would check your mailbox for some divorce papers soon. They might have already arrived. If you could just sign those and send them to the courthouse for Edmund's sake, that would be really helpful.
Divorce? Papers? Surely you mean Marcus and your divorce, right?
You're not that dumb, are you? I mean you and Edmund, obviously.
Huh?
Again, how is this shocking to you? Edmund is a good man, and he can't stand to see the abuse you put me, Marcus, or Cecilia through. Of course he loves you, but out of the goodness of his heart, he has to draw the line in the sand somewhere, and you practically drew it for him. He's been planning to leave you for a while now. He was just hoping to wait until after Cecilia was married so it wouldn't sting as much.
Divorce me? That's insane. That's unthinkable.
I think he's pretty sane for thinking it. Besides, it's not like you haven't put him through the verbal and emotional ringer quite a few times. You've been horrible to him. And if you take it to court, I'm sure all four of us would love to testify to your abusive, heinous behavior.
All four? Even my little Cecilia?
How do you think she feels about the fact that you wanted to cancel her wedding just to make you feel better? That's not exactly Mother of the Year material right there.
I was just being threatening, you know. I would never go through with something like that, honest. Please, I can explain all of this. Just let me talk to Marcus and Edmund, at least, okay?
It pains me to say this, but it doesn't seem like those two want anything to do with you at this point. Neither have anything they'd like to say to you, and they would appreciate if you forwarded anything you needed to get off your chest to their lawyer. Otherwise, leave them alone.
Alone? I'm the one being left alone by you ungrateful cretins. I can't live like this, alone, in this old house that's fallen apart. Edmund was supposed to pay for the refurbishing with his retirement money. He'll keep his word at least, won't he?
Oh, I wouldn't really put all my metaphorical eggs in that proverbial basket if I were you.
Why not?
Well, Edmund's retirement money did come through, but the house we bought for the three of us is brand new. Even with Marcus's salary, it took most of Edmund's lump sum to cover the down payment on that place. It's worth it, though. I mean, it's lovely. It's in a nice, quiet neighborhood without any crazy ladies who makes us go days without sleeping. And with the state of the economy, those repairs aren't going to get any cheaper, so I'd hurry. But hey, look on the bright side. With Edmund leaving the house and divorcing you, the house is officially under your name, and your name alone. So please do whatever you please with the house. That's what we'd want.
I can't get anything done without all of you, though.
Really? Oh, that's a shame.
You understand my predicament, so just hurry and come home, will you?
No, thanks. You told me to follow your orders, so I'm doing just that. I'm not coming back to that house ever. Well, I'd better be going. Take care, Joyce.
You're kidding me. Come back here this instant. Or better yet, take me to his new house. That'll be good. I'll apologize for everything, I swear, and I'll never say a nasty word to you all ever again. I'll even do all the cooking and cleaning, you'll see. I'll be a dutiful servant to Edmund, to Cecilia, to Marcus, and even to you. Cara, please, just take me back into your family, into our family. I'm begging you.
In the end, Joyce was left alone in a prison of her own design. The house she had once treated as her domain, verbally lashing us when we stepped out of line, became a hollow, lifeless, crumbling labyrinth of solitude for her. She didn't have the heart or money to fight back on the divorce, so on that front, things went exceptionally smoothly. Our lawyer was able to convince the court that this wasn't just a dysfunctional family, but an abusive one, citing her insane demands of me as evidence. The settlement, because of her nefarious actions, was much larger than the usual divorce check, so we ended up getting some literal payback. As for Joyce's financials, she needed to get a part-time job at some factory to help pay off the debt she'd accrued from our time in court. I heard she was pretty clumsy and not all that put together and invoked the ire of her younger co-workers frequently. Ironic, given what she put me through for years. At least they probably didn't call her ugly, though. As you can imagine, the texts from her asking for us to come back and or take her in never stopped flooding in. At some point, I got tired of all the notifications, so I ditched my old phone number and got a new one. Peace and quiet at last. Marcus and I have been living our best life along with Edmund, and we've made a strange but strong bond as a family. I'm so extremely pleased to say that in a few months, I'll be a mother to Marcus, his child. I can't wait for this baby to see the wonderful new life we've made for it, free from the darkness of that woman. Thanks for watching. Please give this video a like and subscribe to see more videos like it soon.